Good evening and welcome to United Real Therapy, people. How are we doing, Therapy Army? How are we doing? Big up Alex. Alex is on here early, says it's just Sancho, not actual striker, and Rashford is a pace merchant. No actual striker. And he's a pace, he's a pace merchant. I don't think he's just that. I think Rashford is improving, and I just hope that, I genuinely hope he doesn't go to the World Cup, me personally. I love you, Rashford, but I just don't want you to go to the World Cup, because I actually think in that time, I think Ten Hag can do a lot with you. I genuinely think can work on the training pitch. I don't want him and Sancho going to the World Cup, by the way. Big up, Sancho plays better on the right. Don't know about that. Big up, Kelly's from Medin Lassie. United Real Therapy, Chief Editor, man. Big up, brother. Big up, Shaberto 0161 in the house. Big up all my people in Middleton Army. Therapy Army, where are you? We just done the Straight Jacket podcast. Some of you obviously were there. We got interesting topic to get into about Sancho and about our front three, if there's the lack of chemistry. So love and light to you all. Rashford can't finish his dinner. He's good at giving people dinners, though, isn't he? Without him, trust me, NGN, there'll be a lot of kids starving in this country without Rashford. So yeah, big up Rashford. Always big up Rashford. I think, like I said, I don't want him and Sancho going to the World Cup. Genuinely don't. I want him to stay, and I genuinely want him to be coached so that he can have more on the football pitch with them, personally. That's what I want. I don't know about you guys. But love and light to you. Big up Schubert. Big up Bells. Let's get the big Sancho. Is a system player like Donny. When the team gets better, he will do. Yeah, big up Kelly's. Bit insightful there. That's an interesting comment. That's a one point of view. Big up Nuruddin from Qatar, man. Hamza, Habibi, love. Big up to all my people in Qatar, man. Not the regime, but the people, innit? Because I never have any problem with the people, innit? I love people from everywhere, where they're from. But yeah, big up. Yeah, man, love. Oh, Saeed, I'll send you the link. I'll send it on Twitter. Let me just get the link, man. Let me get the link. Saeed's not here because of the link. What's going on with the link, man? Saeed TV. Send it on Twitter, Saeed. Big up. Big up to every one of you, man. But yeah, Martial is also brings the best out of our attack. But we need a striker because he's injury prone, yeah. 100%. 100%. Saeed.
Welcome. Yo, what's happening?
Big up, man. Big up, bro. Yeah, today we've got a very interesting thing to talk about. Big up Hassan Yusuf as well, man. Love and light. So,
come on.
Saeed, you saw the game, and there's been a pattern developing lately. I thought, off the ball, because now our manager has... So talk about Sancho, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, he's not just looking at how you're playing with the ball, it's also what you're doing off the ball. And that's what modern football teams have to play now. To be successful, you have to be you have to have the intensity, aggression, off and on the ball.
On the ball, yeah.
I personally thought against Spurs, that was his best, really best game for me. Sancho off the ball. I thought off the ball, I thought he was brilliant.
Absolutely.
He was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And I couldn't ask for anything more. Big up HKN. It says Rashford has had 25 shots, 3 goals, while Sancho's 8 shots, 2 goals. People are getting on Sancho because he doesn't spam shots. No, that's exactly HKN. That's why I said, is it the chemistry of the 3, or is it just on Sancho? And that's the question we're going to answer today, people. That is what we're going to answer today. So I thought off the ball, he was horrendous against Man City. He was one of the worst culprits, right?
Yeah.
Anthony was horrendous as well on the other side, to be fair. The whole team was horrendous off the ball. So that's why we got our asses had into us. That's what that was. But there seemed to be a pattern developing. He's one of the first to come off.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, he's one of the first to come off.
Not great.
Now, he's one of the first to come off. One, it's like Eric Ten Hag and his coaches are looking at output in terms of what you can offer off the ball. So is Sancho thing, is it a question of fitness side?
Yeah.
I know that. And also there's all these dubious illnesses now and again that he's getting. He's getting these dubious illnesses. He had it last season. I think last season apparently he had tonsillitis. This season he's had a couple of things where he wasn't feeling well or he's under the weather. So is there a fitness issue? Is it a lifestyle issue? A fitness issue? Because for me, when you're the first to come, or is it a productivity, like what your productivity issue? Where do you see it? Where do you see it?
You know what? It's one of them for me. It's a very, very sensitive subject because it's like we chased the guy for 2 years. That's why I feel like more, people are talking about it more than ever now. Because we chased it for 2 years, it's got to a point now where obviously everyone's like, oh, well, where's this Sancho that's meant to arrive and, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's a durability-wise, he has to do better in terms of obviously lasting the whole 90 minutes. But I think in the game against Tottenham, though, did he come off quite late, though? He did, I think, more than 70 minutes or 80 minutes in that game. So he can do 90 minutes. But the problem is, though, for what Ten Hag wants, he wants intensity for 90 minutes. He doesn't want it 50, 45, 35. He doesn't want it like that. And this is where it's a message to Sancho as well. But it's because if you're getting subbed off the first person every time, you then got to have the penny has to drop for you and be like, yo, why am I getting subbed off every time? Like, what am I doing wrong? Rashford's not scored a goal. He's not scored a goal. So why am I getting subbed off? And he has to work on that, evaluate that. It's nothing personal. And he has to come back and say, you know what? Right, I'm going to get this right. I'm going to get my fitness levels up. So there is part of aspect in that. But I think it as well is the fact that I've always said this about Sancho. He plays too honest. He plays, I feel like, that kind of football where he thinks, you know what, if I do the simple things right, it's going to get me a long way. The manager might like it, but also you have to sometimes be selfish and be like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm show a bit of star quality. I want you to show a bit of arrogance sometimes. I want you to show a bit of, show what you're made of. Like, take a man on. Do what you were doing at Dortmund. Because I'm sorry, the same principles is at Dortmund is that here. You still have to take people on. Like, I get it if the defending at Dortmund and the German league is not great. I understand that. But the principle is still the same. Go and try and beat your man. Why are you not doing that? Go and try and beat your man. So this is where I think, again, have that confidence, understand it, take it, and just, there's no pressure for you to kind of like, you play for Man United now, believe in it now. Before it was kind of like, oh, the shirt's a bit too much for me here. I don't want to take maybe the number 7 shirt or this and that and whatnot. Now, own it and say, you know what? I play for Man United now. Let me go and take this opportunity instead of worrying about what other people think. Don't worry about what other people think. Think about what you can do, because only what you can do is control what you can do on the pitch. And I feel like maybe he's thinking about external factors of, oh, you know what? If I do this, then people are going to be like, oh, I give the ball away too often, and I'm like Rashford. So that's why I try to be different and not give the ball away and try to, take care of the ball. So it's just about expressing yourself a bit more and, having that bit of, oozing that class. That's what I would say. Just own it a bit more.
Yeah, big up, Said. Yeah, it's 100% agree with you. I think you made a lot of key and factual points in terms of like, it's almost like when you watch him, it's like I'm like, unleash, man, unleash.
Yeah,
literally unleash, man. Just play with a bit more freedom. Let me just get this. Khalees, big up. The Van der Sar quotes. Can we leave that till the end? Big up, Khalees from Medina Lassie. Chief Editor United Real Therapy. Big up Hassan Yusuf as well, helping with the quotes. Please, can we leave those the Van der Sar quotes to later to the show? Because I really want to get into this Sancho stuff Tom, how you doing? I hope you're well, bro.
Big up, Tom.
Are we back in lovely
Big up.
Yorkshire? Or are we in Canary Wharf? Or are we in Spain today? Where are we?
Where are we?
00 Tom, mate. Forget 007, Saeed. This guy is mysterious, Tom, mate. He's everywhere. He's there. He's there. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Yeah, man. It was Sheffield.
He's in Sheffield. He's in those 7 lonely hills, mate. Those 7 cold lonely hills. Part of that, mate. Part of the crew. Tom, welcome, bro. I hope you're having a good day. You had a good, all right day?
Yeah. Likewise, lads. How have we been doing?
Yeah, good, man. All good.
Doing good, man. Doing good. Big up everybody. But yeah, I can still show them, but I'll come back to them. Mike Faveri says on Anthony turning down a really decent amount to sign. Anthony was given a bonus, and if he stayed for one more season, he would have received several million. He wanted to come to Man United, man. Let the guy go, innit? Once the manager got into his head, he was going to always come. But we're on Sancho, Tom. Tom, from what you assessed, I said, being in the stadium, Saeed was in the stadium as well against Spurs. Being in that stadium, I actually saw off the ball, I thought he was brilliant. He was brilliant. That was his best game of the season off the ball. I thought Liverpool game, he was really good as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Liverpool game, I thought he matched his Liverpool game. He was productive with the ball, but
without it, yeah.
Off the ball, I thought he was brilliant against Spurs. Like what he was doing, he's part of that brilliant press on that left-hand side where they kept having to launch it because we wouldn't let them get out. So it was worrying to see him. And I suggested, is it a fitness thing? Is it a lifestyle thing? Because he's always the first to come off. And now it's getting earlier in the time where he come off. Usually it's to come off like 70th minute, now 60th minute, now 50th minute. Now, so the time is coming
50
up.
50, 55.
Yeah. So what do you think is going on? And does the fans need to back him? Do we need to stay with him? Because there are fans now are throwing in a towel. You know what our fan base is like.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Our fan base, 1 minute, if you perform all right, next minute you're the greatest. Next minute you're the worst player if you have a bad game. You know what I mean? He's still young player. He's still young player. Obviously, he did amazing and he did bits in Germany. But German football, like Saeed alluded to, is different. Premier League is totally different. You're not going to get that much time on the ball. And German football is more transition. Like there's too many.
Yeah. It's more counter attack end to end. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just high octane, and there's a lot of runners, a lot of legs all around you. So the question of the show, the main headline is that: is the problem with Sancho, or is it with the front three in the chemistry? Now, 3 things can be true at the same time, but I like to get your 2 pence on it.
Yeah, personally, I wouldn't say it's either of those things, to be honest with you, because I think one of the major frailties and one of the major factors, I think, of why we haven't seen the best of Jadon Sancho was in the circumstances that we actually bought him in.
Yeah.
For example, you bought him into a team. Listen, Jadon Sancho, the way he was developed at Dortmund was around tactics, system, and play style. Those 3 things elemented together. And that's what he rocked, because the managers and the coaches that he had in that period of time, with that league being so expansive like it is, where you can run in behind, you can play counter-attack, you can run at people, and the high-octane pace of that system, that gave him the produce to then develop into the player that he did at the time. And if you even want to add in the other factor of he had 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", you know, probably going to be one of the greatest strikers we've ever seen in this league in Erling Haaland, or goal scorers to create for. I mean, you put it on a 2 pence for him, the ball's in the back of the net before you can say any words. Yeah. So if you want to add in those factors, that's fine. But you brought him into a team which was none of those things that I've just outlined about play style, system, tactics, nothing. You brought him into an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer team that was what? Vibes, counter-attack. That is literally what you brought him into. And there's another player who, in many circumstances, is probably in a similar scenario and situation. That was Donny van de Beek, for the case of, what did we buy him for?
Yep, true.
What did we bring him to this football club for when we've done nothing with him? Sancho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did nothing with this player to try and coach him or develop him into a system, because why? He didn't even have a system for the whole team. So you can't do that for one player if you don't even have a system for the whole team. But back to the same point, if you want to go with it now where you have a proper coach, and we said this 3, 4, 5 months ago, some of these players who might be on high wages or high profiles, it doesn't matter about that, Because when you put the boots on and you actually tie your laces and you run around that football field, we're going to see who can actually play ball and who can actually fit into a system and who can't. We're going to see the week from the chav. And you've already seen it for the first part of this season already. Because majority of them players that were starting last season's games, I don't see them getting near this team when the new players that the new managers just brought in are fully fit.
Yeah.
You don't hardly see any of them playing at all. Jadon Sancho, for example, in the front three positions, relatively, he's only got two positions that he can actually play in this system. He's wide left or wide right. Preferably, he's a wide left player. That's what he prefers to play. However, if you have a fully fit Anthony Martial, you ain't going to be playing him there because that's Marcus Rashford's role then. And Marcus Rashford is more of a preferable Ten Hag player than Jadon Sancho is. I think that's clear to see in the last couple of games where we've seen Rashford has the impact in games, not just from a tactical point of view, but from just open play. But with Sancho,
breaking news, people! Breaking news! Let's just get this quickly.
Yeah, go on,
Ronan
go.
Be out between 3 to 4 weeks and sees the his MI results as positive. He won't play Man United before the World Cup. Then the Shams will have to make a call on him. Wow, that's fascinating.
I think you know what it's crazy, but I think Varane will make it.
I feel you know what there are too many conflicting things. Is it his knee? Is it his ankle? What is it?
Yeah,
it could be his whole leg for all these people now.
I think it's his knee. It looks like his knee to me.
Unless somebody can see this man's doctor's notes or medical records, I wouldn't believe anything that any journalist wants to say because the only people that know are him and the surgeons that are actually operating on him.
One thing I would say though, I would caveat this. Julian Laurent has got really great relationship with the French.
Yeah, he's got good relations with the French camp.
I know saying it's hamstring. People are saying.
But the only thing is though, this isn't to do with the French camp. He didn't get injured on international duty.
No.
Man United.
But what I'm saying to you, Top, that he's actually got a relationship with these players, like on phones, and he's got their numbers and everything. So he is actually a guy that they trust. The French lot. Big up, by the way. Congratulations to Carrick on the job at Middlesbrough. I hope he does fantastic.
Yeah.
We hope that
take Mickey Phelan with you.
Undefeated, man.
Have you seen the Mickey Phelan quotes? Mickey Phelan getting into all sorts of quotes. I'm like, wow. Just honestly, Khalees, if you can bring up, stop talking about, I think maybe talking about Ronaldo.
Yeah, it was basically an overview of the last season, basically. He gave an interview.
It's crazy.
Wow, he should not even dare talk
about. Birthday to one of the greatest strikers in Man United history, Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney, man, big up.
What we could do with Wayne Rooney, this team in Wayne Rooney. Prime Rooney in this team. Prime Rooney in this team.
Don't do it to us.
Don't. Let's not test the waters, lads.
Oh, so we're not playing on Boxing Day then?
No, we're not playing Boxing Day.
Damn, man. I wanted to play on Boxing Day, man.
I think it's because of the... I think they're going to put like FA Cup on 2 days before, or Carabao Cup, if you get that far.
Bloody hell. They love doing this, innit? On New Year's Eve, 8 p.m. What is the...
At home, are we at home? Against Wolves?
No, at home. I think we are. No, we are away.
We're away, wait. That is tragedy for people travelling. They basically can't travel to the game, really, because it won't be trains after 10 o'clock.
It's all going to be cars and coaches, isn't it?
Unless Man United put on the coaches.
Transport.
Phelan's still receiving a family for the new contract he signed as a severance package, or a new role has not been agreed.
Wow. You missed a super chat, Nuruddin.
Okay, sorry. Let me get the super chats. There's
two. 12:30 kickoff. Oh, it's 12:30 kickoff then.
No, right. You need to cook Saeed.
We already spoke about it.
I've already cooked him on Saeed TV, mate. Go and check out 201st Straight Jacket podcast, Saeed TV. Road to 100k people. Get on it. No, I already talked to him, but I'll save that for the later. So stay around, Dean Simon. He's not getting away. Him and the Conte standards, the Conte wig wearer. Saeed has already put it out on social media, on Twitter, that if he gets sacked, if Spurs sack him, Saeed's wearing a wig. He's wearing a wig. He's wearing a wig. Antonio Conte is wearing a wig. Saeed will get it as well.
3 games ago, they were on about giving him a
Big
new contract, weren't they?
Yeah.
HKN said in pre-season you can see it. You need a striker like Martial that wants to link the play with wingers and midfielders to get our team further up the pitch. Rashford, Ronaldo can't do what Martial does. Same reason he struggled in the last season as well. Listen, at the end of the day, it's simple in it because in the preseason he looked amazing. Like Sancho preseason looked amazing. The link up between him and Martial was brilliant. The way that Martial will drop into the hole, and then both Rashford and Sancho will make those inverted central runs towards the goal were brilliant. So yeah, 100%. For me, I just think I get frustrated in it when I think Martial injured again, mystery injury. I'm just happy now. You know what? This might be controversial, people. I don't want Sancho going to the World Cup. I don't want Rashford going to the World Cup. I don't want Martial going to the World Cup. I don't want Varane going to. I don't want any of these players going. I'm selfish. I'm sorry. I'm Man United. I'm not French. I'm not England. I'm not these. I'm Man United. That's why we sing Argentina, and that's why.
By the way, that's a legendary song. I love that song. By the way,
Yeah.
Argentina.
That's why we sing. He said, by the way, big up Lazaro Martinez. He says every time he hears that, he says he says like it makes him emotional. He just wants to cry.
Yeah,
you might have another Martinez joining maybe soon.
Oh, I don't know about it. Tom, tell us breaking news. Tell us something that we don't know.
Listen, I don't know about it or anything, but I know that Ten Hag likes the player. That's all I'm going to say. Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. I know he likes the player.
Big up Indiana, by the way. Big up Indiana. Indiana is a massive. Indiana loves Lazaro Martinez. Like he loves it.
He is honestly a really, really good player from what I can tell anyway. But the only thing I would say is when we see it with the comparison from forwards going from Serie A to the Premier League, it doesn't really spark a lot of optimism because you saw Dusan Vlahovic, for example, got all them numbers at Fiorentina. You put him in a proper team with Juventus and he's sitting on the bench. Like there's question marks obviously there around moving leagues and things, but listen, it is what it is. But we all agree in every way. But Mickey Phelan, here we go.
I knew he said something.
He did say something, yeah.
Everybody's coming out having a pop just because Eric Ten Hag has said, Mickey.
Told you.
No, thank you. Now it's like everybody's trying to batter Mickey because everybody's trying to batter Eric Ten Hag because Mickey's like everybody's joining, ganging up on him, except for Gary Neville. Like, and Hargreaves, to be fair, Hargreaves not said it. Hargreaves loves it.
If Cristiano Ronaldo plays and he scores, Man United win. If he doesn't play and we lose, then Cristiano Ronaldo should have played. They will always be there, and you can't avoid that. Well, this is what you guys bought in it to the football. You guys you gave that deal in. You know what I mean? So I don't understand this. Like for me, it's a case of United play better without Ronaldo. United
more fluid. Yeah,
more fluid without Ronaldo. So this idea that you're going to lose anyway, I think we have to find out. It's better for this football club to understand why we're losing without Ronaldo kind of being there. We need to know that we're playing this and that. This amount of football, you know.
It's the modern day of football now. Is though it's more a case of you build a young team with an average age of around 24 to 25. You have 3 to 4 years of success with that said team, and then you have to deal with the decline and the rebuild of it. That is pretty much the main example I could use would be Liverpool. For example, they built that team up that was so consistent with results and games, scoring goals, playing well, working as a team, defensively solid, everything. They built that team in the space of 2 to 3 years. But it had an average age of about 25. They've had 3 to 4 years of brilliant seasons, challenging Manchester City, winning every trophy that they could possibly win. But now you're seeing the decline of that team because it's one of the oldest teams in the Premier League with an average age of about 28, 29. But you see the rise of another younger team in the mould of such as an Arsenal, for example, and they're doing absolutely brilliantly. The modern day game now suits to play with younger players. And you develop a team so that he's then good enough and consistent to win you games week in, week out. Cristiano Ronaldo, unfortunately, he's 30. I don't even know how old he is now. 37, 38. I mean, regardless of what you talk about physical condition, your legs have gone, Cristiano. I'm sorry. You can't run the 20, 30 yards sprints that you used to do 5, 6 years ago when you were in Juventus or when you were in Madrid. You can't put your body through it. You can't do it. It's not physically, equable for you to do. But we all will sit here and say, you've been a great servant to Manchester United for the years that you have. You've been a great servant to football. You've been a great ambassador for young kids around the world. But there's a time where sometimes you have to let go of something. And that is what Manchester United need to do with this player. You have to let go. But the one thing that Manchester United never do with players is what? Let go. Oh, we'll give him an extension. We'll keep him on 12 months. To do what? Sit there and what? Rub their hands together on the bench while they get paid another 100 grand. Do I need to mention the names?
True. This is apparently true. Sorry to cut you off, Tom. This is
No, go on.
apparently true. So Windegrand said, Saeed, Ollie, Phelan said no to Ronaldo. Would ignore them and sign them anyway. 100% I believe that. Because a sign.
It was commercial.
Listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't want.
I don't know about that one. Can't lie to you.
Listen, no, Saeed. There are reports. There are genuine reports that this is the truth. I know for a fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did not want Donny van de Beek. He did not want Donny van de Beek.
No, he weren't Jack Grealish.
Yeah, the club forced him to.
Anybody will tell you that.
But I get that, but the Ronaldo situation, I think, you know what I mean? Was it part of their plans to buy Ronaldo? No. But at the same time, it's not as if I don't think Ollie was like no to it. I think he was like, you know what, fair play.
It's what I can get at the end of the market. Yeah. He did it. He did it the previous summer, didn't he? Side with Cavani, Pellistri, Amadi.
Remember that one? That
yeah. He had no signings, and then suddenly he had 3 on deadline day at the final hour. Like, come on, it doesn't take idiots to work it out, does it?
Yeah. Right, but listen, this is another argument. So continuing the Sancho,
coming back to the
Sancho. Say that again. Did Saeed say something then?
No, Saeed. No. Go, Roden.
Yeah.
Say that again. Who's funny? Sorry.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to Tom?
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, no,
I don't know what's going on here, guys. I don't know what's going on here.
No, I'm saying I was just laughing at the fact that, you know, Felix coming out here and saying, well, we don't really want him and this and that. And, like, you know, this idea. These guys were loving it. They were lapping it around me. They were throwing Ronaldo.
They have to, though. They have to come out and say this. They have to.
You know what I mean? So, I don't understand, mate, these quotes. I really don't.
Elias Arazia says, Rashford out of position and Sancho afraid is out of his depth in the Prem. No, I don't believe it. Because he's had some good games. The game against Liverpool, I thought he was incredible, man. That's his best game, not because of the goal. But the thing what frustrates me about Sancho, he's got so much ability, so much composure in tight spaces. I'm like, get into the box. Stop always looking to play 1-2 with Shaw and these people or Bruno. Get into the box. Now, somebody said to me the other day on the street, said to me, Nuruddin, because I chatted to them on WhatsApp and I saw him and he said to me, Nuruddin, do you think that is Eric Ten Hag's tactics, like where they have to play this extra pass always, the extra pass to build, like to kind of like almost kind of like overload on one side and then switch the play? And that Man United are not doing that yet. They're not being good at the switching the play yet. When we overload on the right hand side, we don't always switch at 1-on-1. Where Sancho's there. So at any time where Sancho's on the ball, there's 2-3 players there, right? Every team understands and knows. But for me, for him and both Anthony, and that's why I'm not just blaming Sancho, I'm like, it's the way we function. So Eric Ten Hag has sorted the defense out. Eric Ten Hag has worked on a lot of it. He's worked on what we're doing as a team, whole as a team, off the ball, right? So at times where Sancho was walking around against Nicosia, he got subbed. See you later. Him and both of them, their goal was their fault. They both got subbed, right? He didn't play the next game. He played this game. So, for me, it's just the final bit now. Is Eric Ten Hag now going to work on the bit about clicking, making these players click? Because I'm not going to just blame it on him. I think he's still a young guy. And I'm old enough to remember there were seasons where Ryan Giggs was dog shite, people. the people will be like, sell him. Ryan Giggs was getting regularly booed at Old Trafford. I know some of you, I know your heads are going to explode, yeah? This is one of these most successful players in United history. I'm telling you, he was getting booed regularly, right? Getting booed regularly. At even times where Ronaldo, when he was young, where he would do too many stepovers and someone like, get him up, whip that ball and get him frustrated.
Guys, I was thinking, there's someone made a comment there about Luke Shaw being here 8 years and still fans give him opportunities. Why is it after a year and a bit now, we're talking about Sancho being a flop, and yet Shaw gets ample amount of opportunities. Other players get ample amount of opportunities. I'm sorry, man. I've said for me, this end of the season is where I can say, I can make a judgment and say what's going wrong or what's going right. Obviously, we can do that now, but I'd rather reserve my judgment. A lot of people are saying it's not suited to the league, this and that. I just think for me, give him a season. And I think it's still a big situation. The fact that he's not really playing with a striker at Old Trafford, he's not playing with Martial a lot, has he?
Yeah.
He's not playing with Martial. He's playing with Ronaldo, who's 38. He's playing with Cavani, who's 36. I'm sorry, man. What's he have to work with up front as well?
That's the only thing that you can really say, and it doesn't just go for Sancho. I think it goes for all of these forwards who haven't had majorly successful, or a large portion of success with Manchester United. Where if you bring that final piece in the puzzle, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah,
there is nowhere. Like we said when we brought Casemiro in that midfield. Listen, Bruno, there's nowhere to hide now, and we're seeing it now where there is nowhere to hide because there's a player who's just as good as you, if not better than you, that plays next to you, who can easily take your role and you can be subbed onto the bench, and that's Christian Eriksen, and Casemiro can play the holding role. So if you want to add that striker into the mix, what really? Let's be honest now. What can you really say then? For players like Sancho, for players like Rashford, Antony, Elanga, what can you do for any of these players? You can't have. There is no excuses left. You will have run out of ideas or excuses to use because you've got literally the perfect attack, but it's just not clicking. And there's the fundamentals of that, and like I already reiterated earlier, it's got to come down to the coaching because listen, some of these players. I think Ten Hag, as soon as he came in, regardless of personality, what the media said about you, or anything that you've done in the past, he was prepared to give everybody 12 months. He was prepared to give a lot of these players a season. The likes of your Phil Jones, your Eric Bailly's, your Axel Twanzebes, even if you weren't going to get a lot of games, he was happy to work with you. Jimmy Garner, for example, he was happy to work with him, but the club forced him to sell him. You know why? Because they needed money at the end of the season because they were going to capitulate the Frankie de Jong deal and they panicked. So they needed the extra money to go and get Casemiro. But look at it from the point of view of this. When you complete a team, there's nowhere left to hide.
Yeah.
Manchester City, for example, they get rid of Raheem Sterling. Do they really look like they've missed him at all? They've got better without him if you've been anything.
Yeah.
You bring in Erling Haaland, you bring in Julian Alvarez, two young quality strikers who can lead that team for 10 years. What do we have? Cavani, who was here for what? Barely 18 months. I would say he was here for 12 months because last season was shocking. Hardly played any games at all. He was here for 12 months. Ronaldo, we've seen him for 12 months. Again, short-termism. We've not had that long-term striker at this football club. And until you do, and this is why I made the point earlier about it, the age of players that you peak at, your peak years as a football player is what? 27, 28, 29 and above. Up to about 32. Those are your prime 5 years in football.
Yeah.
You need to buy just before that or well before that. And this is where your recruitment team comes in. And you buy the hidden gems of this world who will take you forward and you can develop into a system. But do we trust this club to do these things? No, because they don't have the right operators in place to recruit the right players.
No, we don't. Talk to me about Antony because let's compare the difference now. Contrast. Antony
he's got swagger.
Yeah, but you know,
personality that though.
You know, one of the things what I love about Antony is that it's very difficult for him to be dispossessed. He hardly gives the ball away. He can make a mistake with a pass, yeah. Obviously, all players can misplace a pass, yeah. That's part of football. Like if we moan at every mispass, it's that we just don't like passes being misplaced constantly by one player. Like the way in the second half, Bruno, Saeed, and Ericsson were misplacing passes was shocking. Absolutely.
Yeah. Both of them were
in the
bad as
second
each
half.
other. They
It
were bad
was
as each
shocking,
other.
honestly. They were really bad, really bad. But one thing about Anthony, the difference between Anthony and Sancho is that, first of all, that was criminal, the Citari miss. He's missed 2 now. He's missed 2 where he's been through, like where he's not finishing. And to me, he didn't even have to hit it that hard. He could have just tapped it into the corner, side-footed it on his right foot. But is that what... It's very difficult to... He's press resistant, and he's very difficult to dispossess. Now, with Sancho, on the other hand, it's just easy to take the ball off him. Like, he doesn't even buy fouls. Anthony's so clever that he puts his body in the way a lot of the time. It's a foul, he goes over. He's very, very clever at that, in that aspect of it.
He's street smart, Nuruddin. That's what it is. It's being street smart.
But at the end of the day, to me, I'm not going to just blame. We talked about it for about 35 minutes. We're going to move on to the next topic, by the way. Big up to every one of you. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, right?
Hit the like button, man.
You know what? We are I don't know, about 500 or 600 short of 7,000, which would be a remarkable journey. So please smash a like. Let people know, because here we talk about the real things that matter. We don't just talk about what Ronaldo's doing, because we can't just be talking about Ronaldo all day, every day. The guy, Erik Ten Hag, sees him as a third-choice striker, and that's all it is, because he's not a dynamic, and everybody is intimidated when he's on the pitch. At the end of the day, that's where we are, right? That's where we are. But for me, Rashford, I can see Rashford improving in the way that Saeed, that he's still poor in terms of hold-up play. He's still not good at it. But in terms of his movement, it's brilliant. In the last third, Rashford as a central striker, his movement's improved.
You know what, Nuruddin?
And I thought he rushed at that, because Kepa comes out to him and he could have just poked it through his legs or took it around him, and he would have brought him down. He would have been a
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, even
but I think he's improving. Saeed. That's why I don't want him, Sancho. I don't want Anthony's going to go, but I don't want Sancho and Rashford to go, because I think within that we can still. I think Erik Ten Hag can do bits with them, like in terms of coaching. I really think. I think that our players, especially forwards who are British or whatever, French or whatever, who are not going to go to the World Cup. One, I think Erik Ten Hag can use that time to assess, like, the medical team, Man United's medical department. Injury prevention. Why are you laughing, Tom?
What medical department, Nuruddin?
Well, there is
these people judge that you have 3 to 4 weeks, and then suddenly it changes to 3 to 4 months within a couple of hours.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I say.
Listen, just to sum it up.
There you go.
I can see. I don't know quickly, just so we can move on from this topic. Can you guys see that the work that Ten Hag has done in a short time with Rashford? Can you see that?
Yes,
he's not trying to dribble at anybody. He's getting it off, even though he's bad at it when he got centre of his back. But his movement is so much better.
His runs are better. He's measuring his runs better.
Well, it's like when he burst onto the scene, isn't it, with LVG? That style of football suits him. Yeah, because you can be coached in that philosophy of football. Yeah.
Right. Big up. So. We're going to move on to Edwin van der Sar now and his comments. He gave an interview at the Times.
He rejected
and then to finish the show off, we're going to be talking about the quote from Roy Keane. So, Khalees, and if you can find the quote towards the end of the show about Roy Keane saying that Man United fans are clueless, please, that would be brilliant. Because I want to... this is my rebuttal to Roy Keane. I think he's clueless, but anyway, that's a different thing. But let's just Windy get this in. The funniest thing that United League, Rashford said he wants to play as a centre forward. Rashford interviewed on camera 2 weeks later, said left is his best position. I know. It's because, come on, Windy, we've seen this happen before, Windy. It's because, Windy, the club don't want to spend the money that's necessary in January to get a striker. Whether Ronaldo stayed on, or we needed a striker, everybody knew it. But anyway, let's get into the Edward van der Sar quotes, people. Big up Khalees Remedy Lassie. Big up to everybody watching. Big up to my my host here, man, Tom and Saeed. Big up to every one of you. Make sure you follow Tom, Journalist One, on Twitter. Saeed TV across all social media. And make sure you go and catch the 201st Straight Jacket podcast, because we'll bull no bars there. Saeed, I was getting cooked in the comments. I cooked some of the people in the comments. Saeed talked about Conte. We'll come to that as well towards the end. But anyway, let's get into this. let's get into this. 100% Windy. You know that I know these things. And when people tell me, go, you don't know nothing. I know about this football club. I know the PR and Neil Ashton. I know. I went and fought out and found out who Neil Ashton is, right? So I know about these things. And now Gary Neville is using my talking points about the bankers. He just needs to, all he has to do is add Bristol to it. And then I'm like, Gary, I'm sending the invoice to Gary Neville to say, Gary, come on now. I've been banging on about this.
There's a copyright claim there for you, Nuruddin.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's get into Edwin van der Sar. So there's been a lot of rumours, obviously, to distract about Man United football structure, because we know the structure still stinks. 1 minute we're linked with Rabiot, next minute Arnautovic, next minute he's flying both. Even though Richard Arnold said he doesn't want to be involved in the football side, him and Murta are flying to Barcelona twice. Murta's going to Turin once by himself. And they all come in empty-handed. So we know the structure's not there yet. We know that it's not. So recently, there's all these old videos, and you know what the fan base is, innit? All gassing up, going, oh, he wants to be director of football at Man United, all that. But anyway, let's hear it from the horse's mouth for the interview he gave at the Times. So there we go. Big up Khalid Ramadi Lassie, chief of the United Real Therapy. Let's get into it. Van der Sar, we saw the work Ten Hag's done when they established himself as a young coach. He's relentless. He wants to achieve as much as possible. Boom. Van der Sar, the training exercises, the way he wants to play, it's coming into the picture. Okay.
So it's nice to see it.
Henry on Rashford. You open the goal up. You just finish it. Yeah, that's Henry on Yeah, he talked about the goal against the one against. Was it again? One game was.
Look at the next one. Evra says, "Not everyone has your brain, Henri." And then Henri goes, I know, but you have to use it. That's true. It's true. Because he just spiked it. Like, just relax. Place it.
You open the goal up, just finish it, place it. Why hard? Side foot to goal. See it. But Rashford can do that. He did it against the finish that he did against Nicosia was amazing. He just placed it into the corner. He has got it. The fact that he has got it. But I think it's because he's too short of 100, 2 goals short of 100 for Man United in all competitions. I think he's just got into his head. And you know what happens? A lot in football side, it's about the head. We're talking about the brain. It's about the head. We know that it's about the head. He needs to relax. That's what he needs to do. He needs to relax. Khalid goes on about Van der Sar, and Van der Sar says, Van der Sar on Martinez and Anthony, it was our opinion they should stay for another year. We gave a firm no to Arsenal when they came in first for Lozano. We fought hard to keep him, right? And then he continues with Edward van der Sar and says, Man U have ceilings. It's never been close. I have a good relationship with Man United board. And I had a fantastic 6 years in Manchester. Okay. I'm not finished here at Ajax. Okay. Interesting. Let me just get this super chat. Where's the super chat? Big up HKN says Martial is going to be on the bench for the Euros. He will come in for the past 30 minutes. Martial will manage
him well.
We've got to, haven't we? That's why for me, Martial, I'm sorry, but you're not going to a second World Cup, because at this age, that's why I put the tweet out. A lot of people came in, all the Martial stands came in for me, even though I was the original chief general of Martial stand. Yeah, I relinquished that. I retired from that ASAP when I realized my guy is literally marrying these women, next minute breaking up with them, and then his form dips. Have you always seen the coloration when Martial is with his married or whatever he's with, and then he breaks up with him, he gets caught cheating, his form dips? I'm like, nah, I'm not having your private life affect Man United football, mate. I'm not having that. I'm not so that's when I said, right, I'm off now. I've left it to the followers, and I said, so when for me, I triggered a lot of them when I said that Martial, to me, a proper football club will get rid of Martial and get rid of Ronaldo. A lot of people came in from that. I'm like, no, the guy's not on the football pitch. I'm sorry. When you are this age now, he's not 22 anymore. He's 27, he's 26, nearly 27. Similar age to McTominay, people. McTominay's not 25, he's 26, nearly 27. Martial's nearly 27, right? You will do everything in your power to make sure that you're fit for Sunday, or for Sunday, Saturday, or a Wednesday or Tuesday. You will do everything. Don't even get me Thursday, because Man United players shouldn't have Thursday in their football. Shouldn't be playing on a Thursday. But So that is what I think about that. That's what I feel about that. So for me, no longer babysitting and holding his hand and making an excuse for Martial. Those days are gone. You either on the football pitch, you're doing it, or you're not doing it. Do everything. You're a multi-millionaire, mate. Go and do everything. Do yoga, do Pilates, do whatever you can. Source out experts in the world who can get you, make sure that you're on that football pitch, mate. To me, you're not doing something right for me. If you're that injured, you can't be that unlucky all the time, mate. You can't. But anyway, is there another super chat that I missed? Have I missed another chat?
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't. That's all.
Yeah, big up, by the way, big up. So Edwin Fantasy, of course, I've tried to persuade Eric there. There we go. He continues. He says, Edwin Fantasy, of course, I tried to persuade him to stay, but Eric Ten Hag is someone who knows what he wants. It was a big challenge for him, and he wanted to take it on. Yeah, of course.
Premier League, man. It's where they want to be at.
Of course. But yeah, so in terms of Van der Sar, he's that's it. So all those in the know IDKs are like, oh, he's coming. No, he's not a savior to save us. We need to get the Glazers out. That's the only thing. We need to save ourselves as Man United fans. We need to save ourselves. Nobody's going to come with a magic wand and save us from the Glazers. We need to save. And I said it. I put the tweet out and I said it. For the first time ever, after that performance on Sunday, backing up the performance from Spurs, which was the best performance in the 10 years, and then backing up in that first half against Chelsea, I said that. I put the tweet out. I said, we've got the right manager, coach.
Yes.
Coach. We've got, for the first time, we've got a couple of warriors. Talking about Casemiro, Martinez, Varane. We've got warriors, yeah? We've got warriors now, right?
Yeah, warriors, yeah.
But we've got the wrong managers. That it means the two having the right manager, right to our players, means if you haven't got the right owners looking in the same ambitious way with the players that you have and the manager, you're still not going to win challenge for the big trophies. And I'm genuinely not wrong about that. But I'll go to you first, Saeed. What do you think about that?
I think for me, Ten Hag is an ambitious coach, and I think for me, even with this club now, I think for once here, I'm not saying that the Glazers will finally see sense and they'll start being the best owners possible, but it's almost as if now you haven't got a manager who's pandering towards what they want, and it's almost gone back to that ways of what will they do now with when Van Gaal was there and he was questioning certain things and whatnot. Even Mourinho, I know you don't like Mourinho, but he did question a lot of things at the football club. We had Orly for a couple of years.
Listen, and then he gave us the worst football in history of Man United.
No, but I get that. I'm just talking about the principle of, what do they do now in terms of a manager who's not going to kind of like say things that they might not want to hear or say things that are going to be like, he might say some things about the club must do better. You might come out one day and say, yo, we need to be competing. We need to make sure that this club is a club that should be challenging for the league. So this is why I feel like for me, it's the best thing that could have happened to football club was get Ten Hag. At least he can uptake within the standards of football club. And then we'll see what do the Glazers do? Do they back him? And then they have the whole fan base ready to kind of go at them because we've finally got a manager who's very, very good tactically. So there shouldn't be an excuse to not back him, So this is why I think for me, Ten Hag I can't wait for him to kind of like, show, more of his personality and kind of like put himself in this football club because he's the one that right now we should be listening to. All these guys, Murto and all them, they don't have no clue, man. Absolutely not at all.
Well, go ahead, Tom, if you want to answer. Let me just get these couple of chats. Dembele used to be injured every game, 100%. He got married, then he hasn't been injured. At the moment, he's on fire for Barca, 100%. Listen, Martial, just get married again, man. Just get married again. Make sure you're married for the next 4 years. Just get married again and stop cheating on it. Stop cheating on these women that you're marrying, man. Stop it. Big up Windy says, I get more nervous watching Martial because of his injuries than I do watching Eriksen. And Eriksen literally died on the football pitch. No truer words have been spoken. Not a truer words have been spoken, Windy. 100% spot on. Yeah. Says. Tom, same question to you.
Well, I think what you have ultimately now is you have an ownership that has not publicly come out and said it, but I think behind the scenes, if the right money was there, would be prepared to sell. I think there is no hidden secret. I think the lid has been lifted over that now.
Breaking news. We're getting a bit of breaking news tonight. Villarreal
Yeah.
folks feel Unai Emery will leave the club in the next hours, and he was expected to accept the Aston Villa job. Wow, that's a big pause.
It's only
That's
because
big.
they're
Go
going to
ahead, Tom,
pay.
sorry.
They're going to pay him well, though, aren't they, Unai Emery? That's the only reason.
Yeah.
And they're happy
You
to
know what?
pay his release clause.
Are they going to be ready for his kind of?
I can't wait for that. Listen, I can't wait for our favorite catchphrase. Good evening.
You know what though?
Good evening is back himself.
Aston Villa fans need to be prepared though. He doesn't play the type of football that they're thinking that he's going to play. He's going to play
No, he doesn't.
Rigid, 2 banks of 4. But you know, what I mean, he's a very good tactician though, and I think for me, he does deserve this job. Like he deserves a big pay rise because he got semi-finals for Villarreal.
Won
You know,
Europa
so-
League.
And there you go then. So
Won the first trophy in the club's history. I think that one.
there you go.
Like I say, with the Ten Hag thing, it all comes down to the overall coaching, because I agree with what everybody says, and I don't think there's a person out there who can disagree, really. From what we've seen in not just any of the games, but I think especially even the big games against the big coaches with the big players, we're seeing that we have a coach and a manager who has the ideas and the play style that can compete with them.
Yeah.
And I see this. I haven't seen this before. Even when we've had great winners and serial winners like your Mourinho's and stuff, we've never competed in games against the big boy. We might have got a result like with Ollie. We might have won a couple of games, three games in a year with Pep, but we never outclassed them. We never outplayed them like we did against Spurs, like we did in that first 40 minutes against Chelsea. Because when your opposition manager in the dugout has to make a substitution after 40 minutes, that in itself should give you the perks of, we had a brilliant tactical plan coming into this game and it worked out, because we've had to make the opposition change how they wanted to approach this game. To do that, that's when you know you have an elite coach and an elite manager at your hands. Now, back to the other question. Will this ownership back him? Because they've never backed another manager before. They don't have... I'd say the last 2 managers that they've had, or that this club has allowed be appointed, in Rangnick and in Ten Hag, neither of these 2 guys are yes men, as people would call it. They don't listen to authority. They don't listen to what people have to say. They might open their ears and listen to it. Doesn't mean they're going to dance off your hymn sheet and say what you want them to say. They don't get gagged by the media. And with Ten Hag, I think, personality-wise, he isn't a Jurgen Klopp who will have a laugh and a joke with the press. He isn't a Pep Guardiola who's pragmatic in his approach when he answers and responds to questions from journalists.
Yeah.
He's just an ordinary... Honestly, he's the modern-day Dutchman, in many people's cases.
Yeah.
But the only difference is he doesn't need football to have a successful life, because he's already a multi-millionaire without football.
Yeah.
That's one of the fun things that people know. He's in this not for the money. He's in this to succeed. And I think that's one of the key points that I would stamp down on this manager. But with these owners, and likes with Edwin van der Sar, you're not going to attract a top sporting director to come to your football club when the club have appointed within. When these owners appointed John Murtough and Darren Fletcher, who were men within, inside men of the football club, when you have appointed these people, when you had world-class operators out there to get Paul Mitchell, Luis Campos, Dan Ashworth, all these world-class sporting directors or technical directors who you only have to pay a small release compensation fee for, between £5 to £10 million, and you hire them over a contract for one season, you might pay them £4 million per season to be your club director. That's not a bad deal considering the amount of brilliant business you can do in the transfer market. The brilliance that you could do in developing a new stadium. The brilliance that you could do in developing your women's and youth team and bringing the entity of a football club together. Dan Ashworth did that at Brighton Football Club. He took them from nearly basically relegation, appointed Graham Potter, and you look at that team now, they're basically pushing top end of the table every single season. That's what you call a proper sporting director and club structure. Brentford is primary, secondary example to Brighton. Good owners, good football club, have the fans backing them, boom, the team's rocking. But whenever do we see this at our football club? We don't. these people now, they have the manager and they have the coach at their hands. The question is, are they going to let him slip through and fall through when you could give this manager the time, the recruitment team that he needs? And I'm talking about world-class elite recruiters. I'm not talking about John Murtough, Darren Fletcher. I'm talking about the best of the best in Europe. You go and get this man the best because he deserves the best. And you claim to be the biggest and best football club in the world.
And that's it, Tom. They're not.
They're not.
They're not. And that's the biggest thing.
That's the disappointing thing.
Do you think they'll spend in January?
No, they're already coming out saying there's no. Athletic is reporting it. They're saying they're not.
I did tell you that. Laurie Whitwell said it on the overlap. He said, "He goes, I doubt they spend money in January." But it's again Ronaldo staying then, isn't it? Because if Ronaldo, if their summer transfer, so they think that Ronaldo, we should buy a striker just because of Ronaldo's leaving or not leaving. We should be a striker regardless of Ronaldo leaving or not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A big club does that, but we're not that club, are we? Keane, but anyway, it's Keane waffling on Ronaldo. Ronaldo, I certainly feel he's been unfairly treated when you get that senior pro. Keane, it's almost justified anger. He's going to react in a way, but it flaws like everyone else. I don't know what you're talking about, Roy Keane. Where's the one where he talks about the fans? He says, I guarantee if Ronaldo played most of these games, he'll be the leading goal scorer. I don't know. I don't know what you're watching, Roy. I don't know what you're watching, but Ronaldo, without no preseason, not integrating into the system the way that the manager wants to play, is horrendous.
And his goal handling now, which is not great, which is like, you're not bringing much to the team. You know what I mean? You need to come and...
I mean, he mentions the bit about team spirit. Ten Hag is always talking about the team spirit, so I don't know what you're talking about. You're just getting triggered, mate. He always says the team spirit. He was emphasizing the team spirit, just the togetherness to come back and win. Because Man United, when we go 1-0 down, we don't come back. We hardly come back. That's been this team. That's why they're cowards and the bottle jobs. Because when we go 1-0 down, we bottle it, and that's why he's praising. So I don't know what you're on about, Roy Keane. Roy Keane and Ten Hag says he's obviously got his decisions. He's got to win football matches, but he's not been winning enough. What are you talking about? Where's his type of energy when Ollie was in charge, Roy? Where's his type of energy? We've discussed this, by the way. Go and check out the Straight Jacket podcast, people. But we've discussed this. The one for me is where he says the fans, Man United fans, don't know anything. Like, Roy, you wanted, what's his name? Simeone to manage Man United. 90-something% of Man United fans do not want Simeone. They don't want dead football. They don't want a guy who gets average 34% possession in a league, in a game, in a league where almost even the bottom team can keep the ball well. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Joke, man. He's a joker. Roy Keane, I think now he's just a lot of PTSD.
Everybody's become a Ronaldo shit. I'm telling you. Everybody's become a Ronaldo stan. Is Ronaldo paying these people? I know that they've got a WhatsApp group. They've got a WhatsApp group, yeah? Because when they won the 98, 2008, when they won they got that West, Everest in it, all of the squads there, Van der Sar, everybody's in that WhatsApp group. So we already know now Rio Ferdinand is acting like his personal PR to Ronaldo. I'm sorry, we don't need this. It's always up to the Glazers and the bankers. Ronaldo, and I said, we blame Ronaldo, we blame the bankers, we blame his agent and himself. Nobody else can be blamed here. Nobody else. And that's why we could see that Mickey Phelan, for say what you want about them, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, nah, we don't want this. But Man United had to engineer such a thing and go, he was going to go to Man City. We got to get him and get the fan base emotional.
Never going.
We all needed somebody like a Casemiro. We needed two midfielders. We didn't need Ronaldo. It's madness what's going on. But listen, I'll let you have your 2 points. So I'll stay with Tom first. Tom, how can Keane come out and say the fans are clueless? The fans have been the ones who are protesting against the Glazers. So were the fans clueless when they were talking about the Glazers from the beginning? Like how much almost 20,000 of them left to set up their own football club? Were the fans clueless when they've been banging on about for the past 6 years about centre midfield players, banging on about who's buying our football, who's making transfers at this football club? Are the fans clueless about that? So are the fans clueless when they're calling you their greatest captain, one of their best captains? Are they clueless then, Roy Keane?
I think this comes down to the era of football that he played in compared to the era of football that he now commentates his opinion on, because
Yeah.
it's completely different. The
Yeah,
modern
spot
era now is skyscrapers, whereas in the past it was barely even a car park. And that's to put it frankly. You've gone from car park football fields to multi-billion-pound stadium skyscrapers in the liking of your Tottenham Hotspurs, for example. You've literally like raised the roof on it all. And listen, Roy Keane's comments on the fans and stuff. Listen, he can say what he wants. He's on a multi-millionaire, billionaire broadcasting, group where he gets paid a wage to say what he wants, really, and talk whatever. But
Tom,
But it's
hold it
Sky
right there.
Sport,
Listen,
though.
listen, Tom,
Sky
hold it
Sport.
right there, Tom. Tom, hold it right there. I don't know who you are, Fabrizio Romano, but don't come on this channel, right, and start having a go at people and calling people idiots. You're on a yellow card there, mate. If you do make any disparaging remarks to Kelly's again, you are gone, mate. You're blocked. Simple as. We're not here to mess about, mate. We're not here to mess about. Only say things you would say to people, not because you're on a YouTube comment. You say to them in face-to-face in real life. Don't try to give it the big one, right? You're on a yellow card. Watch your mouth, especially when it comes to Khalees. Thank you. Go ahead, carry on.
No, I'll reiterate that same point that you just made, Nuruddin, with Khalees. But the only thing on Ronaldo and everything, look, Ronaldo, he did what he did. He walked down the tunnel. The player left the pitch. The brand
Actually,
stayed
you know
on
what? Actually, I'm gonna rescind that, and you know what? I've gone to VAR. Zaid, you gone to VAR? Tom, you both agree?
VAR.
It's a red. It's a straight red. Take the yellow card back. It's a red. See you later, mate. It's been a pleasure. Bye bye. I'm not having you trolling Khalees, dickhead. Nah, mate. Not happening. Not trolling our Khalees on here, mate. You're not doing that. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah,
but like you say, with Roy Keane, the era of football that he played in and the era of football that he watches now is generations apart. And look, you can't call out, football fans for having an opinion when you get paid thousands of pounds to do it on national television. I'm sure there would be many of those fans outside that stadium that would love to be in your position, Roy, who get paid a hefty wage to sit there and talk about what we talk about on here for free.
Yeah.
But these people get paid thousands to do it in the studio with billionaire broadcasters, with major commercial revenues coming in. They get a percentage of cut in terms of the wage that they actually earn. And the opinionated, depending on how many views that they hit for per matches or per games. Yeah. And because it's Man United, the viewing scales are going to go through the roof. But it's publicised propaganda, really, in many ways, when he wants to come out with the words of, the fans, they don't really know anything. And yeah, the point that you just made about the protests and things like that. But these people don't care. They know that these protests happen. But Sky don't pay them to go on there and speak about a protest. They pay them to go on there and speak about a football match. That's the difference.
Keane, you know what Roy Keane likes to market himself in it. Man of the people, in it.
Man of the people, yeah.
People, no, we've gone without a show in both Straight Jacket and at United Real Therapy on a Monday evening without Zayn Miassi. Why? Bit of bloody nose got bullied, in it. Your boys got bullied, Zayn. What's happened, Zayn? Has anybody seen Zayn Miassi? Has anybody in the road down London, any of the shisha bars, anybody seen Zayn Miassi? Saeed, I'll come to you about Roy Keane's comments, but go ahead. Let me just get this on, Ski. In any business environment, insubordination is subject to punishment. CR7 violated the club players and fans. His actions were indefensible. 100% Omski. Always spot on. Spot on that one. At the end of the day, say Miassi, your boys got battered. They got bullied. They got slapped around. You thought you went down there to the South Coast for easy 3 points. You see what happens. You've been giving it the big end, and now City are on your heels. Is this the downfall, Saeed? First of all, get your quick comments on Roy Keane, and then quickly, Tom, I'll get to you. Yeah. This is the downfall of Arsenal. After
with the Roy Keane one, I just think for me, he's Sky Sports have got a particular audience, and they've got to tailor towards the crowd, the middle-aged men.
Clickbaiting.
Yeah, no, and this is what it is, and this is why they brought Gary Neville back in the studio, and then they probably said to Roy Keane, "Yo, listen, spark it off. You know what I mean? Say this. You know, come on, man. As much as it's still free speech and you can say what you want, but at the same time, they'll have some trigger. You know what I mean? They'll try to spice it up a little bit because Sky Sports clip it up and they put it online and they'll be like, "Oh, Roy Keane and Gary Neville clash." And then I watched Gary Neville's Instagram live, and they're all laughing. Like the presenter, Hasselbank in the background, they were all laughing. They were like, "Yo, this is like a." And Gary Neville was laughing. So I don't know whether they do it just for the entertainment purposes. And we are watching Sky Sports now for entertainment now because it's just they're trying to fit in with the YouTube and the way social media is going on now. They want to see some headlines in it. When can it be ever boring though? It can't be ever boring. It was a 1-1. The game was, the second half, it was this and that. There was a few talking points, but all of a sudden, Ronaldo's still the main talking point after the game. But it should have been before the game.
Because
I find it's baffling.
I genuinely do think Man United are clickbaiting people of this. Man United are doing this. Big up Saeed, by the way. I think he might have to go quickly. But I'm telling you, I think they're doing this on purpose. People, can we show some love to Khalis Lassie for the fantastic work that he does on this effing channel, right? We're not having anybody coming here disparage him. Please show Khalis love. Khalis, can you let people know what your Twitter handle is? Khalis is not just talking about football on there, but he's also talking about politics as well. So make sure you follow Khalis Lassie on Twitter. Let me just get it. Khalis, let me just get his handle.
Yeah, just post it in the chat, Nuruddin. Yeah.
Sometimes. It's at Ramadeen Lassie, innit? It's AK. I can't even bloody copy it, man. Can I copy it?
If you can't copy it, then just
I can't copy it. So we've got to do this all the time. So people, please make sure. There you go. He's done it. He's done it himself as well. But make sure you give him a follow, people. Absolutely knowledgeable. Big up, man. Big up, Nick. Nick Nash, how you doing, bro? Big up. Listen, we're not having. Please show love and respect to all the hard work. Him and Hassan Yusuf as well, who's recently doing this for the channel as well. So big up Hassan Yusuf as well. But Khalis is always the OG, man. He's the OG of this channel. So big up to Khalis. Definitely, Craig. Listen. Saying Biassi's gone missing. He usually comes for you. So what have you got? As therapy, have you got a message, Tom, from you to say Biassi? What's your message this weekend? For this weekend?
I think he's gone in hiding like the Brazilian forwards, haven't they? They can't make the Brazil squad still, I see, Zane. That's the card that I hold.
Say Biassi, where are you? Say Biassi, where are you? Apparently, you've gone hiding just like your Brazilian forwards, Tom said. I think that's the end. We'll have to end it there, honestly. Big up to every one of you, please. Big up to Tom, to Saeed TV. Yeah. Make sure you're following Tom as well. Let me just get on. There we go. That's it, people. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you're following Tom Journalist 1 on Twitter. And obviously
follow Khalis as well, yeah.
Yeah, make sure you follow Khalis as well. And this is obviously my banner as well. That guy, Red Devil. Let me just go back out of it. Let me just go out of it. There we go. That guy, Mr. Structure on Twitter. Big up to every one of you people. Love and light. Win, lose, draw, Glazers out. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday night for the match preview. But we might do something different show for you tomorrow. It might be a different, but keep a lookout. Keep a lookout anyway. Make sure you literally click on the bell so it lets you know every time we go live, people. So love and light. Look after yourselves. Have a great Monday evening and the rest of the week. And the games are coming more relentless. I'm glad that Varane's all right. I'm glad that it's not a long-term injury because we are going to miss him in these next games. We will miss him. And I don't actually think we can play the same football without Varane, with Lindelof or Maguire. But peace, love, light. Tom, I'll give you the last word.
Glazers out.
There we go.
There we go.
Big up. Big up.
Win and goal to the club itself, people.
Yeah,
big
man.
Up.
Big up.
Love.
Yeah, man. Big up. There we go. Legend. That's Khalis, man. We celebrate people here, man. One of the first in the community, man. One of the first, Khalis. I say, always the real one. Love, light, people. Love. Look after yourselves. Bankers out, Glazers out. Take care. Peace.
Peace.